Mr. Chairman. Mr. Ferguson, my bill, the CAPE Act, supports wildlife management activities that conserve important native wildlife and accomplishes this by allowing for the donation of the hide and the horns to the volunteers who help protect our native species, such as the bighorn sheep population that we have in Wyoming. The volunteers that participate, they invest a lot of hours, their own resources to help conserve our bighorn sheep population. Do you agree that allowing the donation of the hide and the horns to these volunteers does help eliminate needless waste and kind of incentivizes participation in this conservation effort?
We do, sir. You know, culling in national park units where hunting is not allowed is a very effective, efficient, and humane mechanism to manage certain species of wildlife. You know, we think the CAPE Act is, as written and as intended, is going to continue to promote the principles of culling and ensure that it's carried out in the way that Congress intended and the way that we all want culling to move forward.
Ms. Turner, and then also to Mr. Ferguson, you can chime in at the end of this. Earlier this year, you know, I've introduced the Film Act, had a lot of input from folks in Wyoming, and this is to address the permitting scheme that really makes it harder for the public to record and share their experiences on public lands. So I think the bill's critical to update the laws and the regulations that keep pace with advancements that we have in technology and social media. Do you agree that this is going to greatly improve access and enjoyment of public lands?
Yes, I mean, I think one of the things we're finding is that the first interaction that many young people especially are having with outdoors is through social media and through film, and it's really inspirational for them to go to those places someday or to learn the activities that will get them to those places. It also goes to, I think, you know, a general theme that we're going to hear hopefully throughout the morning, which is the needed staff time and resources that it takes to create those unnecessary permits. Those could be going to perhaps some of the other things that we're talking about today. So creating efficiencies and streamlining processes.
The things that Mr. Chappell mentioned as well. Great, thank you. Mr. Ferguson, anything else you want to add on that?
You know, I would echo Jessica's comments. We need the next generation of champions, and we want them to touch, see, and feel our public lands. But if through digital media we can inspire them and give these future champions the motivation and inspiration to take a trip, I think that's a win-win.
Great. Mr. French, if I could, you know, our Outdoor Recreation Act is going to authorize finance partnerships for recreation projects with the National Forest and truly to help nearby communities become more popular recreation destinations. These partnerships would significantly leverage private investments, give taxpayers a much bigger bang for their buck. My understanding is that the Forest Service has some early success with partnerships like this. I think Wayne National Forest in Ohio is one. Can you tell a little bit about the success of that project and how this model could be expanded to other projects?
Yeah, you bet. So conservation finance is something that we've been working on for the last few years to help us things like watershed restoration, wildland fire risk reduction, and recreation infrastructure. And essentially, we combine the interests of communities, private companies, and ourselves to collaboratively invest in creating something earlier than we could do on our own. On the Bailey's Trail project, which is the one on the Wayne National Forest, that's more than 80 miles of trail systems for mountain bikes and other users. It's a multi-user type system. We leveraged nearly $10 million of investments matched with federal dollars to create that program. We never would have been able to do it if that hadn't happened, and it's serving the community well and attracting increased tourism.
Great.
And Mr. Barrasso?
Yeah, go ahead.
If I can add, you know, as a private company, we have just entered into a partnership with the National Forest Foundation in getting funding to grant projects on national forests for wildlife restoration, habitat restoration, and the like. And so I think from our perspective, this provision is very attractive and something that we want to learn more about to be part of the solutions that all of us are talking about here today.
And Ms. Ferguson, you know, the Outdoor Recreation Act also provides a framework to ensure access to federal lands by increasing opportunities for both motorized and non-motorized access of our roads and our trails. Can you elaborate on the importance of ensuring both motorized and non-motorized access to our federal lands?
Yeah, you know, similar to the Film Act, you know, with all the different users of public lands, you know, the millions of users who've entered the public lands over the last 20 months, the future champions we hope to activate. There's a lot of ways to enjoy the public lands, whether it's mountain biking, hiking, you know, taking a ride on an e-bike, side-by-sides, four-wheeling. There's 660 million acres of federal land, and I think we all can agree that we need to have options and choices for people in how they recreate and how they enjoy these lands.
Ms. Turner, could I ask you to?
Yeah, I just chime in there. I think it's really important to understand the new consumer. It's not perhaps what, at least my parents grew up with, where you're a climber and that's all you do.
You mean people like our age?
Yeah, I wasn't going to say it. Or you ride motorcycles and, you're head-to-toe Harley. Now you're taking your motorcycle to the climbing crag to get through LA traffic quicker. You're taking your kayak on your RV. You're taking your fishing pole on your boat. And so I think the experiential economy, knowing that 74% of all Americans want to collect experiences, we just need to update our management system so that it's acknowledging that today I might be on a snowmobile and tomorrow I might be on skis. And, we need to have land managers and I think policymakers, coming together to protect public lands for all activities.
Thanks.